Can small changes really help you save big money? Stick around. When it comes to saving money, we often discount little things. Get that? Discount.
I know, it's kind of like a weird money pun.
Little pun.
But here's what the truth is. We don't take the time to make small changes because we don't believe they're actually going to make a difference. When it comes to small changes, we don't really think in our heart that it's going to help us do something big, like paying off your mortgage early, or saving for that dream vacation, or helping to put your kids through college, or reaching some other great big goal. We don't believe it's true, and therefore we don't take action on the small things in our life because we kind of believe, I don't know, it's a small thing. It's just a little bit of money. So why should I bother to change it?
And not only do we not take action on small things, a lot of times we'll rationalize spending small amounts of money saying, oh, it's just a little bit here, a little bit there. It's really not going to make that much difference.
But in this video, we'll talk about 5 small changes that you can make that combined will actually help you save possibly thousands of dollars a year.
We're going to keep a running tab and we'll reveal the total amount saved at the end of this video.
Now, all of the research that we did for these 5 small changes comes from average Americans. We recognize that many of you may be spending less than the average American, or in some instances, you may actually be spending more than the average American. But we still encourage you to keep your own running tab and then tell us at the end of the video how much money you think you'll be able to save by implementing these 5 small changes.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
Let's get right into the topic for the video. Change number 1 is to eat out less often. Now, believe it or not, hang on to your hat. Even though restaurant prices went up quite a bit in 2022, Americans actually ate out even more than they did the previous year.
In fact, 50% of them shelled out $500 a month. That's $6,000 in a year.
And you're going to hear us say this repeatedly in this video. Do the math. Take whatever you are spending each week, multiply it by 4. That's how much on average you're spending during a month. And then you're going to take that monthly total, you multiply it by 12. That's how much you're spending every year. The truth is, once you've done the math and you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. $6,000 a year seems like a whole lot more out of your pocket than $500 a month or $125 a week.
Let's just say you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut your eating out budget by 2/3 in a year. That's a savings of $4,500, and that's very substantial. Habit number 2 is do a weekly grocery audit.
This is something that I started doing when our boys were all at home, 4 boys, they were all kind of young, and I felt like I had done literally everything that I possibly could to cut our grocery budget. And somehow one day I thought, you know what if I just start looking over my grocery receipts really carefully and figuring out exactly how I'm spending my money? Would that in fact help me to cut the grocery budget? And you know what? It did, because I was able to look at those purchases and say, what percentage of that receipt was actually spent toward fruits, vegetables, meat, cheese, eggs. At the time we weren't vegan, remember? And then what percentage of that was spent on junk food, snacks, things that honestly we already had in the household that I didn't need to buy in the first place. Once I started that habit, I was actually able to cut our grocery budget by 20%. But what does that 20% mean in real terms of the average American family?
Well, according to the USDA,
Whom we all trust.
Oh, of course, implicitly. The average American family of 4, mind you, just 4, spends an average of $1,000 a month. And that's the thrifty plan.
Now, if you're not a thrifty family of four, that means you could be spending, according to the USDA, upwards of $1,600 a month. Now, that's for 2 adults in the household between the ages of 20 and 50 and 2 grade school aged children. So I'm going to make sure that there is a link, if you haven't taken the time to ever look at it. It's very eye-opening to look at the USDA food plan that comes out every single month. I'll make sure that there's a link to the most recent month in the description of this video so you can take a look and kind of do the math and see how much your family would be spending according to the USDA to feed your family. But once again, we're going to do the math and figure out, what does this mean per year that you would be spending on groceries?
Unbelievable. So on the thrifty plan, that would be $12,000 a year for the family of 4 with 2 grade school kids. And on the liberal plan, it would be $19,000 a year. And these aren't even teenagers.
This is for grade school children and 2 adults, remember. In case you're wondering, last year we spent $240 a month on food for our family.
Of 4. We have the same.
Of 4.
Yeah.
So, of course, this being a no judgment zone, we would love to know, how much do you spend on your family every month for groceries?
And by the way, 2 of our children, though they're pretty much adults at this point, they're in their teenage years.
So they eat a lot. They have that hollow leg thing going on.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
Feed them and feed them and feed them. And really, they don't ever fill up, guys. It just doesn't happen. What does this mean in terms of how much you could possibly save by doing a grocery receipt or grocery store purchase audit every single month? What that means is, remember, I was able to cut my grocery receipts down by about 20% by using this method that I just described to you. If you, according to the USDA, use this very same method and cut your grocery expenses by 20%, that means you could save somewhere between $2,400 and $3,800 every year. We're going to go with a nice round figure, and we're going to figure you're going to save somewhere around $3,000 a year by doing monthly grocery receipt audits. But speaking of receipts, we do want you to keep the receipts around at least for a little while, because we want you to make sure that you upload those receipts to Fetch. Fetch has partnered with us for this video. Fetch is, without a doubt, the easiest and the funnest app that I have ever used. There are 3 really important main reasons why I love Fetch. Reason number 1 is the fact that Fetch doesn't care where I have done my shopping. They are cool with that. I can use receipts from literally any retail establishment, any restaurant, Amazon purchases, even e-receipts. Yes, you can set up your account so that Fetch will scan your email and look for any applicable receipts and give you points for those receipts as well. Reason number 2, Fetch is so doggone easy to use. 5 minutes a week, guys. That is all it takes me to upload all the receipts from that week into Fetch. I just open the app, line up the receipt, snap a photo of the receipt, and then push the submit button. That's it. Fetch will give me points for that receipt. Reason number 3 is the fact that the points that I accrue turn into really cool gift cards for places like Amazon, Walmart, or our favorite restaurant. You remember we talked about restaurants a little bit earlier in this video? Yes, Fetch is going to make it easier for you guys to afford to go out to that favorite restaurant. Here's how you get more info, guys. You're going to look for the link for Fetch. It's all the way at the top of this video description. Be sure that you use our special code under the median. You can also scan the QR code. It's right up there. Fetch is going to give you 5,000 points when you upload your first receipt. This is for a limited time only, and it's just for under the median viewers. Go, guys. Check out Fetch.
Let's get back to saving money.
All right, let's go. This is the 3rd habit, small change that you can make that's going to save you some big money.
If you will cancel your cable TV, you're going to save a bundle.
One of our viewers just actually wrote to me and she said, I did it. I cut the cable cord. Her bill every month, $200 a month. Now, interestingly, this was just verified by U.S. News and World Report. I looked it up online and they said, actually, on average, that's a pretty average cable bill. But we're going to assume that y'all are just getting kind of basic cable with just a few more channels added on, which means that your bill is going to average about $75 a month. But guys, listen up. Here's the thing that was pointed out in this article in U.S. News and World Report. That's the fact that the cable company is going to charge you that $75. But then on top of that, you're going to have some fees, you're going to have some taxes, you're going to have some other, weird things added on to your bill. So you're not going to pay $75 a month. You're going to pay a lot more than that by the time all of those fees are added on. Here are a couple other things that they do. They do like those introductory rates, which means that, for the first 6 months, you might get a really, really low rate. And then they're not telling you what that's going to go up to after that 6 months is over. And a lot of people don't take the time to even ask, so what's my bill going to be after this 6 months is over? Because they just figure they'll deal with it when the time comes. So guys, cut the cord, cut the cable bill, and you will save, you ready? 75 times 12. Remember, we're saying do the math. Over 12 months, that's $900 a year.
Wow. And so if they were doing the $200 a month plan, that'd be a savings of $2,400 a year. Amazing.
We have never, ever had cable in our home. I think it's pretty common knowledge if you've watched us for any length of time. We did have Netflix for quite some time, but we are now paid TV free family. So if you are wondering like what that looks like, if you're thinking, I don't know, what does life without cable or paid TV, what's that look like? We actually just did a video on it, and we talked to you about some of our new favorite free TV channels. We'll make sure that that video is linked up above and in the description of this video so you can take a look.
Let me give them a little hint into that video. We don't miss Netflix.
No, we don't. Not at all. We absolutely do not miss Netflix.
Let's look at habit number 4 for making small changes. If you're meat eaters, eat less of it.
Or eliminate it altogether. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, that's easy for you to say because you don't eat meat. You're right. We don't eat meat.
But we used
did
to.
For a long, long time.
Yeah.
We ate meat. And I know from experience the impact that even back then eating meat had on our budget. And that really was one of the reasons why by the time we finally decided to become plant-based, we were only eating meat maybe 3 days a week because of the cost of meat. So let's talk about the cost of meat. The average cost, not on sale, just the average off-the-shelf cost of a pound of ground beef is very close to $5 a pound.
Wow. A University of Illinois study actually showed that the average person would eat 264 pounds of meat a year. And I'm wondering if that might be low.
Yeah, I mentioned that figure to Larry. He's like, oh, no, that's
sounds
low.
low
It's
to
more
me.
than that. Now, because I really like easy math, I figured 250 pounds a year of meat per person for a family of 4, because that is easy math. That's 1,000 pounds a year in meat. But when you consider the price tag of an average of $5 a pound for meat, that, my friends, is $5,000 a year. So let's just assume they should cut their meat consumption maybe in half. If you cut your meat consumption in half and that's what you're actually spending on meat, that means you'll save $2,500 over the course of a year.
Habit number 5 is to change your usage on electricity.
The cost of electricity has gone up in the past 12 months. Right now, the average electric bill in the United States is sitting at about $160 a month. So when we begin to think in terms of saving on electricity, there are some things that we can do that make good common sense that actually do make a difference.
Well, first, let's just take a look at some of the changes that we've seen. Illinois had the 4th largest increase in electrical rates in 2022. New Hampshire had the most, and we received an email from one of our Connecticut viewers stating that theirs had doubled.
Now, we always want to be super aware of the fact that we do have a lot of viewers to Under the Median that don't even live in the United States. We recently received an email from a viewer from Sweden who said that their utility rates had tripled.
Oh my gosh.
Their bills had tripled in 1 month. So that's a very serious and, yes, a very alarming trend to be seen. But the question is, what can you do that actually is going to make a difference on that final utility bill every month and bring the amount down?
Well, just as we've been talking all along on this video, little changes, small changes will make a big difference over time. Now, oftentimes you'll find a light bulb left on in your house and you're thinking, oh, it's only using about 13 watts, maybe 10 watts. It's not doing very much. I'll just leave it on. But if you go around and you shut off, let's say 4 or 5 of those, you're starting to really cut down your electrical bill. And there are so many other ways that electricity is probably getting away from you. And so just by making some small changes, you're going to make a big difference in the amount you're being charged each month from your utility company.
We have heard from countless viewers from Under the Median that have told us that they have used the strategies that we talk about on this channel and have successfully lowered their utility bills. Now, the most average is probably around 30%. So that 30% mark is what we're going to use in this example on this video. So that means if you have the average utility bill for electricity of $160 a month, if you lower it by 30%, over a year's time, that means that you have successfully saved $900. Once again, do the math, because once you multiply whatever that monthly figure is by 12, then you realize you're really talking some real money.
We did a video on saving on electricity and your utility bill a short while back, and we'll leave a link in the description on that video if you want to take a look at that after you've seen this one.
And not only that, if you'd like some help from us right away on lowering that utility bill, we actually have a free checklist. It takes you through your whole home, room by room, and gives you ways, quick, simple, easy, no-cost ways that you can actually lower your energy usage throughout your home. We'll make sure that there's a link to request that free checklist in the description of this video.
So now, the moment you've been waiting for. What is the grand total of the amount that you can save just by changing these 5 habits? And once again, we're talking about the average American consumer. What's that amount, Hope?
The amount is $10,500 in 1 year. Now, once again, we said this at the beginning of the video and we'll reiterate it here. Many of you who watch these videos are people who are already cognizant of how much money that you are saving and spending every single month. You are spending less than the average American consumer. But also, having said that, Larry and I know from long years of hard experience that it is still possible for us to save money, even though we have been doing a lot of things in order to cut our expenses over the past 30 years. So just consider what you are spending every single month in these 5 areas and see, can you cut it by at least 10%. Tell us in the comments section how much money you believe you can save by using these 5 strategies that we've talked about in this video. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, yeah, but what does it really look like to kind of be thrifty on a regular basis? I want like the lowdown on what it really, really feels like to live this life and to be frugal on a day-to-day basis. Well, we did a video on it and we walked through the week with you and showed you 35 ways that we save money in 1 week by being frugal. That video is right over there. Go take a look.